Welcome to US Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: from elite Sydney schoolboy to fugitive informant, Miles is ready to come clean about his life undercover. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried on trial, all you need to know. What to know before the fraud trial begins. Moncton theater goers can expect a comfier experience this time next year. Who is Arthur Engoron, the New York judge taking on Donald Trump? From elite Sydney schoolboy to fugitive informant, Miles is ready to come clean about his life undercover. ABC. Confidential sources and undercover operatives play a crucial role in law enforcement, providing intelligence that leads to major drug busts and the dismantling of criminal syndicates. However, these sources often face abandonment and broken promises from the authorities they work with. Miles Mehta, an Australian informant who provided intelligence on drug kingpins, is currently in a Hungarian prison and fears extradition to the United States, where he believes he will be killed. Miles accuses the American agency he worked with of turning against him and the Australian agency of abandoning him. The secrecy surrounding the management of confidential sources means there is little public scrutiny of how they are treated. The Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission, ACIC, offers money or a letter of assistance to human sources, but Miles claims that the promises made to him were not kept, leaving him feeling betrayed and abandoned. Miles's case highlights the risks faced by informants and the lack of support they receive from the authorities. Law enforcement officials argue that confidential sources are vital in keeping communities safe, but they also acknowledge that managing these sources is a difficult task. Some sources work with the authorities to seek revenge or to escape a life of crime, while others want to balance the scales by doing good. However, when operations end, the sources and their families often have to enter witness protection, which can be a traumatic experience. Miles's case raises questions about the treatment of confidential sources and the need for greater transparency and accountability in the management of these individuals. It is clear that more needs to be done to ensure the safety and well-being of informants and to honor the promises made to them. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried on trial, all you need to know. Deutsche Welle. Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of collapsed cryptocurrency exchange FTX, is facing 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. Bankman-Fried, once seen as a symbol of responsibility in the crypto sector, is accused of embezzling funds and contributing to the downfall of FTX. Prosecutors claim that Bankman-Fried and his colleagues endangered the availability of funds to users, leading to the collapse of the exchange as cryptocurrency prices declined. The trial is set to begin on October 3 and is expected to last 6 weeks. If convicted, Bankman-Fried could face a very long sentence. What to know before the fraud trial begins. The Guardian. New York Attorney General Letitia James is taking former President Donald Trump to court over allegations of financial fraud. A 3-year investigation found that Trump and others within the Trump Organization repeatedly used false or misleading financial statements to secure deals, obtain loans, and inflate his net worth. The trial will determine how much Trump will have to pay for the verdict, with James arguing that the Trump Organization should owe at least $250 million for profiting off loans awarded based on false financial statements. Trump's lawyers have appealed the judgment, but it is unlikely to affect the trial proceedings. The trial will focus on allegations that Trump created false and misleading financial statements that inflated the value of various assets, including Trump Tower and 40 Wall Street. In a pretrial judgment, the New York Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron found Trump guilty of financial fraud and canceled the business certificates of Trump and other defendants, making it difficult for them to continue running their real estate business in New York. The trial is expected to last until December 22. Moncton theater goers can expect a comfier experience this time next year. CBC. Moncton's Capitol Theater is set to undergo upgrades, including the replacement of aging technology and worn-out seats. The theater has received funding from the provincial and federal governments, with the remaining costs to be covered through ticket levies. The upgrades aim to improve the visitor experience, increase accessibility, and maintain the Capitol Theater as a state-of-the-art performing arts center. Construction is expected to begin in June 2024, with the theater reopening in late September of that year. The upgrades will be carefully executed to preserve the hall's heritage and aesthetics. Who is Arthur Engoron, the New York judge taking on Donald Trump? Telegraph. Arthur Engoron, the judge overseeing the fraud trial against Donald Trump, has a history of clashing with the former president. Engoron has forced Trump to sit for a deposition, held him in contempt of court, and fined him over $100,000. In his most recent ruling, Engoron quoted the Marx Brothers film Duck Soup to mock Trump. The judge has also threatened to dissolve some of Trump's companies, potentially causing him to lose control of his New York properties. The trial will decide the future of the Trump Organization and whether Trump will be required to pay $250 million in damages. Laphonza Butler tapped to replace Feinstein in U.S. Senate. Japan Times. California Governor Gavin Newsom has announced his appointment of Laphonza Butler, president of Emily's List, to fill the remaining term of the late Senator Dianne Feinstein. Butler will be the only black woman currently serving in the U.S. Senate and the third in its history. Newsom's appointment fulfills his promise to select a black woman to represent California after Kamala Harris vacated her seat as junior senator to become vice president. Butler is known as an advocate for women and girls and a champion for working people. Kosovo says Serbia's behavior same as Russia's before Ukraine invasion. Reuters. Serbia's troop deployment on the border with Kosovo is reminiscent of Russia's actions before its invasion of Ukraine, according to Kosovo's foreign minister, Danica Jervala-Schwartz. She called on the European Union, EU, to take action against Serbia, including freezing its candidacy status. The US has also expressed concern about the Serbian military buildup along the Kosovo frontier, while NATO has authorized additional peacekeeping forces for Kosovo. Tensions between the two countries have increased since a recent battle between police and armed ethnic Serbs in northern Kosovo. France kicks off bird flu vaccination despite trade backlash risk. Reuters. France has begun vaccinating ducks against bird flu in an attempt to contain the virus that has killed millions of birds worldwide. The country has been severely affected by the spread of highly pathogenic avian influenza, leading to disruptions in the supply of poultry meat and eggs. The French government launched a mandatory vaccination campaign in order to protect its flocks and prevent the virus from mutating into a strain that could be transmitted to humans. Over 60 million ducks will need to be vaccinated over the course of a year, with the majority of the cost being financed by the state. However, the move has prompted trade restrictions on French poultry imports from the United States and Japan, as vaccinated birds may not show signs of infection, making it difficult to determine if the virus is present. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6-degree world. Today, we have covered a range of news topics, from the challenges faced by confidential sources to the upcoming fraud trial of FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. We also discussed the ongoing legal battle between the New York Attorney General and former President Donald Trump, the upgrades to Moncton's Capitol Theater, the judge overseeing Trump's trial, the appointment of Laphonza Butler to the U.S. Senate, and the tensions between Serbia and Kosovo. Lastly, we touched on France's efforts to contain bird flu through vaccination. Confidential sources are essential in law enforcement, but as we have seen in Miles Metta's case, they often face abandonment and broken promises. This raises questions about the treatment of informants and the need for greater transparency and support from the authorities. Moving on, the upcoming fraud trial of Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of FTX, will undoubtedly be a closely watched case in the cryptocurrency world. It serves as a reminder that even those once seen as responsible figures can face allegations of embezzlement and contribute to the downfall of their own ventures. In the legal battle against Donald Trump, we have seen New York Attorney General Letitia James seeking justice for alleged financial fraud. The trial will determine the amount Trump will have to pay for his actions, and it could have significant implications for his real estate business. On a lighter note, the upgrades to Moncton's Capitol Theater promise a comfier and more enjoyable experience for theatergoers. The preservation of the hall's heritage is a testament to the importance of maintaining cultural institutions. Speaking of trials, Judge Arthur Engoron's history with Donald Trump adds an interesting dynamic to the fraud case. Engoron's references to duck soup and his threats to dissolve Trump's companies make for quite a colorful legal battle. In the world of politics, Laphonza Butler's appointment to the U.S. Senate as the only black woman currently serving is a significant step forward for representation and diversity. Lastly, tensions between Serbia and Kosovo have escalated with the troop deployment on the border. Kosovo's call for action from the EU and the concerns expressed by the US and NATO highlight the importance of maintaining peace in the region. And let's not forget France's efforts to combat bird flu through vaccination. While the move is crucial for protecting flocks and preventing the virus from spreading to humans, it has faced trade restrictions that complicate the situation. That concludes our news coverage for today. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Now, I want to hear from you, our fantastic audience. What are your thoughts on the treatment of confidential sources? Are you following the upcoming fraud trial involving Sam Bankman-Fried? And what are your opinions on the legal battle against Donald Trump? Join the discussion and share your ideas. Until next time, this is Dr. Six, signing off from the 6-degree world. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.